you can't have a resurrection of the dead until you're dead. That's the way I ended my last video. And how do we achieve this? It has to do with the spark of God, the kernel, inside the Yehidah. The Yehidah is that fifth aspect of God, of the soul in man. And these five aspects are reflected in the letter Hey itself. The fifth aspect is this Hey of the Hey itself. But there's a sixth aspect called the Atzmut, which is, and this is the real secret, the Atzmut level resides within the Yehidah. Let me repeat this. The Atzmut level resides within the Yehidah. So when they say that, the Yehidah is part of God, and that you who has a Yehidah and a Jew is part of God, there's a sixth level within this Yehidah as the kernel of the seed. So I know this is reversed here, but I took some pumpkin seed, you see, dry roasted pumpkin seed. And within the seed, there's something else. There's something within the seed. You see? Can you see it? That's the sixth level. The sixth level is within the seed, the kernel, the engine of the organism. The fifth is the Yehidah. The spark of God is within the Yehidah. That's what activates the Yehidah. This, by the way, is what gives the resurrection of the dead. Because this always existed. And it's brought down that this Atzmut level is before the Zimzum, before the creation of the five levels. The sixth level is before the creation of the five levels. It has nothing to do with the five levels themselves. When the five levels all pass or removed, because that's creation itself, and notice they say the world was created with the letter Hey. And how do you spell the letter Hey? Hey, Aleph. And that Aleph is what's before creation. Everything is the Aleph. The first video I ever did was the Kabbalah Minute. It was called the Aleph. Everything is the Aleph. Everybody's so fancy, coming out of Egypt, tree of life. Story. How many twins did Cain have? How many twins did Abel have? It's all Aleph. Aleph is 1. Aleph is 111. Aleph is 831. So when you get Atzmut, the 606, but when fully spelt out is 832, what do you have? You have Aleph plus 1. Aleph, Lamed, final pay is 831 plus 1 for itself. That means it's Atzmut. This means it's before the Ein Sof. Its attribute of Atzmut is Ahava, love. 13, Echad. Somebody made a lot of money with it. All you need is love. That's the attribute. And that attribute is brought down. Actually, we counted that just the other day as Hesed Shebehesed, love of love. Because the highest is brought down into the Midot, to the 7 weeks, 7 Sephirot of Ze'ampin and Nukuva. The lowest 7 from the upper 3 to make 10. And the first attribute is Hesed. And that's why they have Hasids. Because they bring down the Ahava, the love from Ein Sof. Ein Sof. Now, if everything is love, so to speak, then all of a sudden, some gurus like Meir Baba, who actually went on a silence for like 20 years or more, which I call the Hashmal silent speech, because he used some letterboard, writing board, like we use texting. Meir Baba didn't speak for 20 years, and he also had a thing called New Life Project, where he went, gave up everything, just went, relied on God. Relied on God for everything, would beg, to have accepted everything. Death, life, good, bad meals, bad service at your meal, accepted everything. What would that mean today? Would that mean blocking of borders? Would that mean like accepting terrorism? What would that mean? Anyway, everything is the Aleph. And, there are different ways to write the Aleph. You can write it as Yud, Vav, Yud, with a slanted Vav, but in Olam Haba, it's going to be Yud, Vav, Yud with a straight Vav. You can write it like that, or you can write it Yud, Vav, Dalet, or they write it Yud, Vav, Resh, which in its symbol looks like Or. I have some nice gematria for 832 for Atzmut's level, which is this seed, this kernel within the seed. It's the 6th level. It's what gives life to everything. So it gives life to the deaf. You see, it's the 6th level. As I like to say, it's the palm of the hand. Strange thing is that the word Atzmut's Ein Sof is 813 plus 11 letters plus 3 words, comes out to be 227, which is, for me, the way I spell Gan Eden. Gan Eden I spell as one word. I don't use it Gan with a final nun. I compress the words. Gan Eden. And Gan Eden with a final nun for Eden is 827, which is the same as Atzmut's Ein Sof, the way I look at it. Atzmut's Ein Sof is Gan Eden. I always feel, and just like I say in the Torah, everything comes from the letter Bet. I think everything comes from the first letter. So how about from Ein Sof? Everything comes from the Aleph. And the key here is that the sixth level comes previous to creation. It has nothing to do with anything in the Zimzums, in the Arizal. It's previous to creation. And back then, everything was the Aleph. It was singularity. Everything is God. And once you believe that, then your whole processes and the daily encounters change. You know? I'm not going to tell you how they change. They change. Change for you. And however they change is correct. Because you're dealing in a level of the spark. Show you again. The spark within the Yehida. This pumpkin seed is the seed. You see? But there's an inner engine of the seed. So, as a Jew, you contain this spark of God within your Yehida. And therefore, what you do is tremendously important because you're an emissary, the utilization of this spark. And that's life after death. To attain that spark, you have to die. To attain that spark of the seed, you have to die. These things didn't have salt. To attain the spark inside, you have to die. To get at that spark. See? The shell has to be cracked. Now I have a couple symbols like this. This is the entire thing. Everything is the Aleph. So let's not get too fancy. How about if we just meditated on the Aleph? You know, the Aleph has no sound. Unless you use a vowel. Vowel is good to use the comets. Comet comes from Keter. And this is where the Pesach Ha comes from. Comets with Keter I use as a visualization because what I do is I spell out the comets in Gematria. Comes out to be 230 and I add 1 for the Aleph. It's 231. And that's the Gematria of Aleph. Quotation mark Samach, which is Ein Sof. And that Ein Sof, Aleph is 111, Samach 120, that's 231, which is the same as a Aleph with the comets. And that's from Keter. So that's a very nice visualization. Instead of all this talk. Because another thing Meir Baba did was not talk. You know why? Because I have like 600 videos. You don't convince anybody of anything. So there's another level above talk, and that's hashmal. Hashmal, silent speech. Whoa. I had these ideas yesterday, so these are like strange here, but what I'm really interested in this is to present that the sixth level is within the fifth level. But you know, it's sixth level like from the bottom. From the top, It's the first level. All comes out of the Aleph that occurred before Ein Sof. That occurred before the Zimzum. It's the level before the Zimzum, where there might have been an or Ein Sof, or just an Ein Sof. But the gematria of or and the gematria of Ein Sof is the same. So it's 207. And if you put the two 207s together, you get 414, which comes down as the word v'ahavta. In the Shema, the first word is v'ahavta. And what do you do in the Shema? I don't know what hand this is, if it's right or left here. But you put your right hand over your eye, and you get, when you say the Shema, and you're supposed to form an Aleph. I don't know what. Supposed to form an Aleph with that hand. So you close your eyes, you say the Shema, and there's an Aleph outside. And that palm of the hand is actually there. And in the other hand, you have the strap right around the palm. So these palms as a sixth level, and the eyes, and over the eyes, and forming an Aleph with the hand, with the right hand. And you close your eyes and you say the Shema. And again, maybe the Shema is enough, isn't it? Because the Shema, in a certain sense, is 6 words. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, which corresponds to the Vav in the Aleph. So let's not get too fancy. See? Let's not get too sophisticated or intelligent or developed. Let's try to simplify. Because, as Rabbi Nachman of Breslov used to say, the most simple is the most sophisticated. So I like to be sophisticated. Because I like to be simple. See what I'm saying? So let me read this, because I had this yesterday. Yeah, I covered all bases. An enjoyment of the moment with no goals to the future and no thoughts of the past. Just being in the present. Me personally, I don't go for this going around the world begging. I don't really want to interact. Whether I'm being tested to see if I can interact with a terrorist and keep my composure, or with a man who doesn't like me because he doesn't like long hair, and I have to be pleasant and accept everything. That to me is still a game. And for games, I played tennis. And quite frankly, I removed myself from games. I don't want to play people. And even here, with what I do here with the videos, I'm talking to myself. Just talking to myself. And in a certain sense, that's the beauty. because hopefully it's the sixth level talking to the sixth level.